anything connected with computer considered e-learning? No. See, he will clarify these questions for us. He seems to be the expert when it comes to e-learning. Okay? I will introduce to you Leandre Andres Dacanay. Two versions of the same. He is the president of the Philippine eLearning Society and a consultant from the Asian Development Bank. Prior to this, Andre was the Systems Compliance Supervisor, which is the assistant to the director of the UST Educational Technology Center. He was also the head of the Innovative Learning and Technology section of EdTech, where he focuses on the technology integration in education. Andre is a graduate from the University of Santo Tomas College of Education, major in computer, and has master's units in educational management, also from the UST Graduate School. He will talk to us about the real meaning of e-learning. You will be interested, John. And the importance of having online tutors. Many claim that they are doing e-learning, but the real question is, are we doing it hard? So we have here somebody who will simplify things for us. And he also has a game and prizes. Wow. And all that comes from Leandre Andres S.
Alright, so my topic for today is about active e-learning plus learning with technology. So, good evening. I know it's already 5:30, but it's already good evening. And then I would like to start the presentation with like this. What is the future ahead? Right? So think of it like it is 2072, 60 years from now. So we do not know if we are still around or you know what. So by 2070 today, say there will be no more organizations. All of us will be journeymen. All of us will be journeymen. There will be no retirement age. Okay? And then the concept of work from home will be approved. Is that okay with you? Okay, and then it will be entirely paperless. Okay, so this is not, I'm saying that this is not how we should be, but this is how we could be. Because by 2072, we do not know. So that is why we are now discussing more about e-learning, because so much of the things in education that we really have to adopt with the changing community. Okay, so let me give to you a situation first before I go deeply about e-learning. So it is about environment, transportation, communication, and education. When you say about environment, can you figure where this is? That is actually Rojas Boulevard. That is about 1950s, all right? And then 1980s, eventually, we have already buildings, okay? How about in transportation? Before they use animals, yeah, in order to move from one place to the other, but this time we already have a car. Next. Do you still remember this?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and how about this one? But now we have the latest of the iPhones and other smartphones. So that is the situation now with communication. How about here? This is education actually. How is education being managed before? Okay, before you go to a temple, somebody's preaching, you learn, right? Okay, then formally there become now schools or buildings, but this time we also have the e-campuses. So there is now an emergence of e-campuses all over the world. So that has been the situation of what is the e-learning or the education is happening at that. So I would like to connect with the traditional things because somehow there are good traditional things that we value before that is actually applicable right now. Okay? So there are some guiding principles from Alan Glator. So when he said, what is a teacher? A teacher is a guide, not a guard. Are you the type of person that, when you see a student so noisy, you will shut out? Shut up! Keep quiet. Okay, so because if you're gonna do that, you might as well hire a security guard to do that, right? Because a teacher right now is a guide. What is learning is a journey, not a destination. What is discovery? Is questioning the answer. What is the process? It is discovering ideas, not covering content. What is the goal? It's open minds, not closed issues. I like this one. What is best? Being and becoming, not remembering and reviewing. You might be the best programmer in the world, but what you do is just hack on the system of one company. Do you think education was successful? So you really have to think about that. What is a school? Whatever we choose to make it. Okay? So because we learn through this. Okay? And then we remember with this. Okay, so as a teacher, we really have to recognize all of this. Okay, so I would like now to relate the educational technology because, e-learning came from EdTech. Okay, EdTech is not a collection of machines and devices. It's not in the product, not the software, not about learning how to use a hardware or a software. But the definition of EdTech is actually a combination of the processes and tools involving addressing educational needs and challenges with emphasis on applying the most current tools, computers, and their related technologies. I will explain this simply for you to understand it fully. Okay? So in EdTech, there are two kinds of visuals. This may be non-projected or projected. So the projected visuals, these are, in learning, these are real objects, something that has surface, right? So a chair, a person, which you can touch. Models, there are some architectural buildings that that they display the building model, so you will know upon completion what it looks like. Or still pictures and graphic materials. Just like I said, all these things do have some surface, display surface. How about the projected visuals? These may be categorized as analog or digital. So analog is the OHP. Can you still remember OHP? How about the slide projector? And then we have the document camera. So all of this, these are analog. But digital, we have the DLP or an LCD. But this time, they come across the e-beam or the electronic whiteboard, wherein when you use this, you turn the surface into an interactive one. So you can actually press right at the surface. So these are types of projected visuals. But this time, what is the requirement of the information age? Okay. If before, in order to survive, you need the 3 R's, right? Reading, writing, and arithmetic. And then in the 1980s or 1990s, there become now, if you have computer skills, that will be an add-on to your resume. But this time, information literacy is actually very, very important because this is how you survive through the presence of the internet. Okay? So what is information literacy? It is an understanding and set of abilities enabling individuals to recognize when information is needed and have the capacity to locate, evaluate, and use effectively the needed information. So for example, you wanted to know what are the requirements of acquiring a US visa. Do you have to go to school? Okay, is there a school for that? No, you simply have to Google it. Actually, Googling is now a verb because you can actually use Google in order to search different things on the internet. So when you have information, actually the problem right now is information overload. You wouldn't know which one is the real one. So you have to evaluate further if this information is valid. So you have to check on different websites. Are this information valid or not? Okay? And then you also have to take note of the source. Is the source reliable? Okay, or is it just simple? During the senatorial election, just recently, you can just notice that there are so many false information over the internet. Okay, so you have to really look at the source before you make judgment or you make conclusions. Okay, so I would like to share these three very important course sites wherein you can actually use. It's Merlot, MIT, OpenCourseWare, and La Coursera. You can actually take e-learning courses there with tutors for free. Okay. This is a picture of Mount Everest. Why do you think people go up there every day?
Turkey.
Oh. Okay, so why do you think people go up there every day? You could die, right? It's really very expensive going up Mount Everest. Yeah, I know, it's an experience. So, other than that, why do you think people go up there? To see the world from above. Okay? So, people go up there because it's there. Right? Can you go up there when it's not there? So you really have to go there because it's there. See? Because if it's not there, so where will you go, right? So also in education, e-learning is there. Okay, so you have to use it. Alright? So why do we have to integrate technology? Because technology is everywhere and therefore should be in education. And then research has shown how and where computer-based methods are effective. Okay, so whenever the research results show that it increases motivation, unique instructional capabilities, and the support of new instructional approaches, and then also increases teachers' productivity. Unlike before, people make use of the Manila paper. Have you experienced that? But upon the 7th class, you know how the Manila paper looks like. It's no longer presentable, right? So, if you have technology, you can able to make use of these materials for years. But make sure please update it, okay? And then, before you can understand fully what e-learning is all about, you really have to know the theoretical foundations. What is learning? Okay, so it's there. It's a human mechanism of incorporating new knowledge, behaviors, and skills into one's individual repertoire. And then what is constructing an instructional event? Whenever you, for example, who are teachers here? Who teaches? Okay. For example, if you wanted to teach your class, you are preparing for a lesson, do you actually sit down right away to the computer and prepare the PowerPoint, or do you plan it first? And then after planning, you gather the materials, and then that's the time that the teaching and learning processes now will be the outcome. So the same, the same with building a house. You have to plan a house first, how it looks like. You gather the budget and make sure that the materials are within the budget, and then the outcome will be a house. So similar with education. Okay, what is teaching? This is systematized instruction to facilitate communication of an idea, concept, or skill to a learner. So there are different teaching styles and learning styles. So do you believe this? Yes. Okay, because of the principle of individual differences. Okay, so here goes now the first activity. So the first activity, just to prove about this, is that, I'm going to call on Cecil Benavides, who is actually my boss before. She was. Okay, so if you're going to spend your Sunday with Cecil, okay, so there are several activities over there. So how would you, spend your Sunday with these activities? Or you like to add?
Sleep.
Okay, so you're gonna sleep 24 hours.
Maybe sleep and then surfing.
Okay, surf the internet, and then read a lot. Okay, how about you, sir? Okay. All right. Okay, so it's different. How about you, sir?
Sleep, exercise, and go to church.
Oh, go to church the whole day? Okay. So sometimes, even us, if you see that individually, spending a Sunday is so much different with each other. So the same with teaching and the same with learning. Okay? Teachers do have their own teaching styles, but also learning do have the different learning styles. Do you know I have once a student, the way he learned is when he closes his eyes. Yeah, he was able to grasp everything. The moment he opens his eyes, whenever I write on the board, okay, whenever there is a diagram or something, but whenever I talk like this, it's like that. Yeah, grasping everything. And that is his learning style. So, you know, as a teacher, you have to recognize that. Okay? Okay, according to Dunn, there are different learning styles there are about 5 categories, and these are all. We will provide you with the PowerPoint, so you don't need to copy this. Okay, and then multiple intelligences. Okay, we do all know that all of us do have intelligences. And then the most famous one are the IQ and the EQ. Who works in HR here? Okay, John? John. All right. Okay. If you have an applicant, okay, of course, the ideal way is actually get a person with high IQ and high EQ. But what if the applicant is there are 2 applicants, and one is high IQ and the other one is high EQ? Who will you choose?
Depending on the position.
Yeah. For example, the position requires something like also in HR.
Depends again. If it's in compensation benefits, you not even a high EQ, then an IQ, a high IQ too.
So what you're saying is that whenever the position requires no involvement of other people in the organization, you would actually hire somebody who has lesser EQ.
Yes.
But if the person should collaborate, coordinate, and all sorts of things with the different members of the organization, a high EQ should be a requirement. So it depends, okay? But you also need to recognize that these things are also do happen. There are people who have high IQ and very low EQ, but there are also high EQ, but you know, the IQ is just okay. Okay, according to Gardner, these are the different kinds of intelligences. So this can be linguistic, musical, spatial, and so on and so forth. Okay, so but the topic is more about learning with technology and learning about technology. When you learn about technology, this is more on literacy. So you learn about the computers, all right? But when you learn with, that is more of the curriculum technology integration, wherein you are actually using technology in order for you to learn. So, bringing back this slide, when you actually, you know, when I gave you the definition, were you able to understand fully the definition of EdTech? Okay, given, you know, what the different, these are projected, what are the projected displays and non-projected displays? Okay, so did you understand more the definition? Okay, so the rules of education are bitter, but the fruits will always be sweet. Sometimes, you know, preparing for a class is such a pain in our neck. But later on, when you see actually your students learning and actually applying what they learn, it is actually a very, very sweet accomplishment. Okay.